To get under the skin of the problems facing the incoming Zimbabwean president, you need to get out of the big cities and into rural areas where the bulk of the population live. Many eke out an existence in this economically crippled nation. People like Olivia Mshunga, who lives as the youngest of 3 generations on a small piece of land in Dombo Shava, planting ground nuts in the sandy soil. She wants President-designate Emmerson Mnangagwa to lift her out of subsistence farming. She says, "We are struggling for a long time, no money, no jobs in Zimbabwe, so we want to change our life." Video Mnangagwa promises new democracy. Her next-door neighbor Viola Shamuyarira has similar hopes, while Ms. Shamuyarira's 18-year-old daughter Yardley just wants a better wheelchair so she can get a job as a seamstress. The thrill of being swept up in Zimbabwe's joy jobs are central to most Zimbabwean wish lists. Chippiwa Pirikari doesn't need one for herself but does for her 2 sons. She says, "I carried my sons as a single parent. They've finished school now, but I've still got them at home." Video Robert Mugabe. End of the dictator. Farming at this level is always tough, even when your oxen plow straight, and old habits hard. Emmanuel Nyakuja was clearly uneasy speaking about the new president, the old one. "I'm afraid to answer your questions. Politics is a dirty game," he told Sky News. Zimbabwe's land does not only support agriculture. Beneath the soil there are also minerals aplenty. Justin Mchingwa provides transport for a nickel mine, but his workforce has been slashed from 40 to just 12. Image 1980. Mr. Mugabe and then UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher meet the year Rhodesia became Zimbabwe. Image 1979. Robert Mugabe and the Zimbabwe African People's Union ZAPU leader Joshua Nkomo at the Lancaster House talks that led to the end of colonial rule. Image 1980. Mr. Mugabe, then newly elected as Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, holds a press conference in his garden. Image 1982. Mr. Mugabe visited the Queen at Buckingham Palace with his first wife, Sally. Image 1984. Mr. Mugabe addressing a crowd at Harare Stadium a year after suppressing an armed rebellion in Ndebeleland. Image 1984. He was awarded Doctor Honoris Causa at the University of Harare, an institution he would later be Chancellor of. Image 1986. Mr. Mugabe leaves the scene of the African National Congress ANC offices that were bombed days earlier by a South African commando. Image 1986. Cuban President Fidel Castro shares a laugh with Zimbabwean President Canaan Banana R and then Prime Minister Mr. Mugabe L. Image 1988. Mr. Mugabe speaks to the press at the United Nations about the Africa Prize for Leadership. Image 1993. Chinese President Jiang Zemin L welcomes Mr. Mugabe R with a Chinese honor guard during a welcoming ceremony outside the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. Image 1996. Robert and Grace Mugabe married in a ceremony attended by 6,000 guests. Image the couple became known for their outfits. She was nicknamed First Shopper and Gucci Grace. Image 2005. Mr. Mugabe was sometimes seen asleep in public in later years, such as here at an African Union meeting, but friends insisted he remained sharp of mind. Image Mr. Mugabe addresses a rally in Sanyati, November 2005, on the eve of the senatorial elections. Image 2017. With his time in office drawing to a close, Mr. Mugabe was seen negotiating with generals. Pick Herald newspaper. He believes Mr. Mnangagwa must get foreign investment into the country. Mr. Mchingwa said, "Our expectations of the new president is to open up to the markets, to bring in new investors." Emmerson Mnangagwa and his party have much to do to raise this once bountiful country back to former glories. Many of its citizens hover either side of the poverty line.